Hello and welcome to the preview to the 2019 African Regional Conference. I'm joined today by Sido Bestani, who is SWIFT's Regional Director for the Middle East, Africa and Turkey. Sido, thank you for joining me today.
Pleasure, James.
Now, ARC this year is being held in Ghana, which is one of Africa's fastest growing economies today. And across the wider region, we see some good growth stories emerging around the continent. For you, what are the big trends you're seeing across Africa today?
We have seen 3% GDP growth for Africa. We have also seen 14% growth in the SWIFT traffic for Africa versus 9% worldwide for SWIFT. So at the end of the day, overall, good numbers. Economy is growing, different pace, but it is growing. In terms of trends, what we see for the African banking sector is a continuous investment in AML and compliance. Why? Because the banks need to comply with the international and local regulation. In cyber, these cyber threats are not going to disappear. They are still there to stay. So we need to make sure that banks are protected. And technology and digitalization. We see more and more pressure from the customer to look for more friendly user tool, fast, cheap. So it's important that the banks invest in those technology and digitalization. So that's one trend. So continuous support, continuous investment in those sectors. The other one is about payment market infrastructure. We see a lot of them which are rethinking about the approach. Either revamping their payment system, either thinking about real-time payment system. And why it is important, because payment system is there to help the economy grow and develop also the trade within the country and outside the countries. So we're working very closely with those banks, especially with the central banks and the regulators, because they have an important role there, and making sure that we are supporting them with these initiatives.
So let me jump in here and ask you. In 2017, SWIFT launched its Global Payments Innovation Service, and so you're working with the continent very closely with different regulators, different market operators. How much traction is GPI getting on the continent today?
Yeah, so we see actually a great take-up in GPI, worldwide and also in Africa. We have 3,500 banks who have signed up for the service. 55% of the traffic now is GPI traffic. And from these 55%, it takes only a few minutes for the beneficiary customer to get the payment. In Africa, we have around 250 banks which have signed up for the service, and we have around today 20 banking groups which are live. As a refresher, GPI was launched in 2017 and was there to a bit revamp the cross-border payment to make it more efficient. So it's not about a revolution, so it's an evolution. So basically reusing the SWIFT network, the SWIFT messages, but enhancing it with service level agreements. So banks are committed, to make sure that the beneficiary customers gets its money within 24 hours. It's about transparency of fee. And then it's about making sure that through this unique identifier that we have created, allowing the bank to track the payment throughout the chain, real time. So this is what GPI is about. And today, the outcome, after 2 years, what we see is very happy corporate customers, so the customers of the bank. So an impact also for the banks, because then they have less queries coming from the corporate customers, so they have more time to do other things. And also through this tracker, there is a bit of intelligence that is there which allow the bank to take some decision. What are my correspondents which are fast, which one are slow, what are the cheapest route, etc., etc. So this is what we've been building around GPI.
So there's a lot of strong momentum, not only in Africa, but globally as well. What can we expect in terms of key developments moving forward with GPI?
First, we want to make sure that by 2020, GPI becomes the global standard, global adoption. So that's going to be the norm. The second is we want to implement new features. We have actually started end of last year the feature called Stop and Recall. Today, whenever you need, as a bank, you need to cancel a payment because either it's a duplicate payment or it's a fraudulent payment. You need to go to your correspondent, and if the payment is not there anymore, you need to go to the next in the chain, and sometimes it takes a lot of time, days. So with this Stop and Recall, because all the banks are connected to this tracker, you stop it and the information goes real time to all the banks, and then you can stop it in a very efficient way. So that's one area. The other one we're looking at is everything related to pre-validation. So before you send the payment, you want to make sure that the information which is there is accurate, relevant. So you would request from the beneficiary bank if, for example, the account number is a genuine one, or the name of the beneficiary is the genuine one, so that whenever you send the message, it's not going to be rejected. So that's we reduce the friction of those payments. Third aspect that we're looking at is about making sure that we have cross-border payment, so through GPI, linked to the domestic payment system, whether it is RTGS or whether it is a real-time payment system. So we're making sure that there is a link between the two. And for example, we have, end of last year, we have taken few banks from China, from Singapore and Thailand, making a payment down to Australia using the real-time payment system that they have in the country. And therefore we had the payment happening, cross-border payment happening just within a few minutes. It's not about only few minutes, but it's also the fact that since this is open 24/7, then you can receive cross-border payment also within 24/7. So 2019 looks very great for GPI, and we're looking forward for it.
Well, there are a lot of developments on the horizon there, and I look forward to hearing more about that in Ghana, Sido. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, James.